Hello everyone, Lane Nordland here at the Western Ag Network, and today finds us out on the road in the beautiful Judith Basin. We are in Stanford, Montana as the community gets ready to host the 59th annual CM Russell Stampede, and Stampede weekend has officially kicked off on Friday morning. A lot of activities occurring Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it all wraps up with that professional rodeo action here at the newly revamped fairgrounds. We have a great setup here. New rodeo facility, new grandstand, and I tell you what, it took a lot of community effort and supporters coming in here today. And joining us here today is Powell Becker, Matt Neumann, Dawnita, Sampsel, and Ollie, Urick as well, and they are all great supporters of this community and leaders in their own right. And I tell you what, Matt, we'll start with you. You were president of the Stampede Club. Just over a year ago, we were talking about the funds that were raised to really get this multi-phased plan put together to support not only rodeo, but truly everybody here in Judith Basin County. What's it been like in that past year?
It's been kind of a whirlwind, you know. Stampede clubs worked pretty closely with the Stanford Open golf tournament. The Stanford Open golf tournament's the organization that really pushed the big fundraising. Stampede Club made a generous donation to that and also has done a lot of the legwork as far as physical and manual labor, getting everything put up. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind, planning with architects, getting material in, setting up the arena, getting bleachers moved. And everything, it's been very well, and as you see, we have most of our finished products ready. Of course, a few things we had to cut out or wait and move to phase 2 because we don't have the funds for them right now, but it's been awesome and the support's been huge.
Now, as we look at all the opportunities that we have to really come together and participate in the rodeo, this isn't just a one weekend event facility. This facility is used year-round by youth rodeos, team ropings, 4-H and FFA, of course, with the county exhibition and whatnot. Why is it important to have good facilities for our youth and for our community members?
You know, like you said, it's the Stampede's only one weekend, and we actually, you know, use it less than a lot of organizations. The little kids rodeo, the 4-H, fair, all that, they're here more than us, and something that not only helps generate, you know, more people to come to Stanford for our event, but it makes everything more comfortable for kids at the fair and whatever else. So
now, obviously, it's taken a lot of time, input from the public, and volunteers coming together to say, hey, let's raise these funds. And Ollie, you are president of the Stanford Open. Obviously, that's a golf tournament. Let's talk about how that event got started, and then also really had the foresight to say, you know what, let's support other aspects of our community here.
Yeah, so back in 2019, our great friend and great community member, and just a great person in general, Wyatt Woodall, came down with cancer, and so we decided that we would put together the Stanford Open because we used to do a golf tournament back in the day. His dad, actually, George Woodall, started that, and it was a great event, and it kind of went away. But when that happened, we decided let's do the golf tournament for a fundraiser for Wyatt and his family. Tremendously successful, so we decided to continue it forward, and again had a good year in 2020, and we were looking around at what we're going to use the funds for, and it turns out, you know, we're looking at the fairgrounds like, you know, nothing's been done out there. It needs work. We have a tremendous event in the Stampede and all the other stuff that goes on. We need to do some work out there, and had a phone call with Allied Steel, Jeff Southworth, and he's just like, you need to look at this bigger picture and take your shot, shoot your shot. And so we did. We were like, you know, let's just jump in, and we did. And we've been going all out for the last 2 or 3 years trying to make this happen, and had tremendous support, and the fundraising's been very successful. Obviously with COVID, we didn't time it perfect as far as materials. We couldn't stretch the money as far as we wanted to stretch the money, but we're not done. You know, we're still working to get it done. So.
And Dawnita, you are treasurer of the Stanford Open. Let's just talk about the golf event itself, and when that's going to be held, where, and how folks maybe participate to really help continue the vision of the Open and the Judith Basin County community members.
Okay, so August 19th, it's held at the what golf course?
Pine Meadows.
Pine Meadows Golf Course in Lewiston. It is an absolute great time. 90 participant tournament. Get a hold of Ollie early because honestly the spots fill up. My dad took up golfing a few years ago, and it's an event he does not miss, which says a lot. So, virtually, it's one of those things, as well as my husband does not miss it, and he does not golf. It's for good golfers as well as those who need some practice. So it encompasses everyone. It's one of those events that it's all day, it's lots of fun. You're not going to leave without a few stories from the Stanford Open Golf Tournament.
Well, again, August 19th, that will be occurring there, just down the road there in Lewistown. But Powell, as we come here, obviously we are sitting underneath the brand new awning of the grandstands. The grandstands will have actually bigger bleachers, but you know, when you look at a rodeo facility, how important is it just to keep things up to par, have a good facility for competitors, and also for the spectators that are coming out that are supporting, whether it's the pro rodeo or the youth rodeo. Well, let's just talk about that conversation of really revamping and revitalizing this important part of your community.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just really important. Obviously, the JCs were, I think, formed in 1973. They built the original arena. Obviously, a few years later, it morphed into the C.M. Russell Stampede Club. But, that arena setting, that's a long time, right? And so our buck and shoots were old. It was just time to do something. And so, we met with the commissioners throughout this whole process, right? This is a county facility. And it was just time, right? No one had ever stepped forward and put a lot of effort to bring it forward to what it needs to be, because everybody that participates in rodeo at any level understands how expensive it is, right? You invest a significant amount of funds into that sport, and so to come to a facility that's not going to equate to that, that's a letdown, right? It's not only safety for your animals, which is obviously very, very important, but also to the riders and contestants or whomever is using the facility. So that was a big driver of it, and back to the same thing. You get what you get out what you put in, right? So we want to continue this PRCA rodeo forever, and so it was time for us to get a PRCA rodeo grounds, and we really feel like we've stepped it up in this first phase and accomplished that. I think anybody that comes here is going to not only enjoy it from a spectator standpoint with the shade, just the easiness of the facility, and then obviously on the contestants to the stock contractor, everything's going to flow so much faster, more efficient. It's just going to be an outstanding experience.
Now, looking at the facility, Ollie, we have the grandstands here. We have the rodeo arena, brand new panels, a great strip and shoot on the end. We got a great timed event for the ropers. And you look at that grandstand, the crow's nest as well, and that's still going to be finished, obviously. But what's the vision behind that when we're looking at not only are the timers and the rodeo announcer up there too, but supporters of the rodeo can also partake in there down the road as well?
Yeah, well, that's an impressive structure. Allied Steel built that for us too, as well as the grandstand cover. It's 50 feet long, 20 feet wide. All galvanized metal, and it's the announcer's booth. Part of it, I think, is 16 feet, so there's a 34-foot section there to put other spectators in, and they're going to have a heck of a time up there. They're going to be, front row seat to all the action going on under the roughs, under the bucking chutes, and that's going to be prime spot to watch a rodeo. That's for sure.
Now, obviously, we're sitting on a really nice built-up pad here where the grandstands are at, and we got some great sand out there, and good. It looks really good, and so hopefully those rodeo contestants can be having some good ground under their feet as well. But let's just talk about that aspect of just community support coming together and utilizing different aspects of the community to get the facility where it needs to be.
Yeah. Well, where that kind of started was, we didn't realize. We went into the project thinking we were going to cowboy a bunch of it. We're just going to go in there and throw up this arena, and it's going to, when you get started and down that process, then you quickly realize, that's not the way to do it. We're about to spend, a lot of money. This needs to be done right. So It took a lot of time and effort to make sure that the arena was graded right. Tyler Udarian with Udarian Construction helped us out tremendously. Really saved our bacon, making sure the arena was leveled right before we brought dirt in. We got the right dirt. We got a lot of individuals with the Stampede Club and with just community members and people in central Montana in general that have helped us out anytime we needed help, and that was a lot of times we needed help. We made a call. That's what makes this place so great. That's why the people here are so great, because when we needed help, we just made a call and people showed up and we got it done.
You know, with coming together on that and looking ahead, you know, one thing that I need to mention too is obviously it takes the funds, the donations, but an anonymous donor last year put up some matching funds to help really drive this project forward and whatnot. And let's talk about that aspect of it and really how that really kick-started everything.
Yeah, so obviously, you know, as the board, as we, like Ollie said, it's either go big or go home, right? So, you know, we started looking for large corporate donors. Obviously, you want to go and get the big fish first. Obviously, the small donations were rolling in, but we knew at that point pretty early on that this wasn't going to be a small potatoes venue. This is a big one. So, luckily, that anonymous donor reached out to us and had established a relationship with the Montana Community Fund out of Helena, a great organization that helps folks that want to create foundations and such and give back to their communities. And so that partnership turned out to be awesome, right? So they came forward. Without that, this wouldn't have happened. I mean, let's be honest, a $500,000 matching grant is great. And that really created the momentum for us to go out. It's a lot easier to talk folks into donating when it's matched, right? Automatically doubles whatever you give. So that was just, that was really the turning point of this whole thing, and we can't thank them enough. We're actually gonna reveal who that is tomorrow night at our quick finish. So we're all really excited. I think the community is gonna be super excited when that comes out. And yeah, so it's, you know, again, it's a very humbling experience when you're a part of something like this. People come forward that you would least expect, and we hope people continue to come forward once they've seen what we've accomplished and what we can and what we're going to accomplish in the future.
Well, and you mentioned that what you're going to accomplish. This isn't just the focus on the rodeo ground or the rodeo arena or the grandstands. It's a multi-phased plan to really provide the community a lot of different buildings and other setups, whether it's for 4-H, FFA kids, or just any other events that want to be held here. What does that multi-phase look like?
Yeah, so obviously this is phase one, was the grandstand cover, the arena, crow's nest. Phase two, we're gonna redo our restroom, bathroom, concessions area. We have plans in place to build a nice enclosed structure to do that. Long-term, phase three, we'd like to have a livestock pavilion. Our 4-H barns are pretty old as well. And obviously our youth continue to get more involved. Our 4-H numbers just have been growing at a really nice rate in the last 10 years, so we're outgrowing our barns. So we'd like to have a multi-use livestock pavilion that could be used year-round, put all the 4-H animals inside, all those things. So that's the main phases. We got phase one down, or pretty much done. Move on to phase two and then phase three.
Well, we just had our flyover over the arena practice there.
Timing.
If you heard that little puddle jumper go over the top. But obviously a lot of activities going on with Rodeo Stampede weekend. Matt, do you want to walk us through kind of what things are looking like event-wise over the next few days here in Stanford?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, tonight's fun. I know there's a street dance over at the R Bar. Stampede Club's going to be here, kind of putting the final touches, detail, signage on everything. And then tomorrow afternoon at 2:30, we'll get going with our free music. And again, everything on Saturday is free. So we have our free music fest, a couple local groups in Porterfield and the Bent Willows. And then we have Kyle Shobe and the Walkin' Boys coming. He does our auctioneering as well for our quick finish. And like you had mentioned, you know, it is a CM Russell Stampede. So we want to continue on that Western art heritage. And we have artists, local artists, out-of-state artists who we can rely on to bring great pieces year after year after year. It used to be the quick draw when they do their whole piece during that 45 minutes. Now they can bring something kind of prepped up and just finish it and sell it. And we have Miss Teen Rodeo and Miss Rodeo Montana. They help not only sell our paintings, but they do a kids stick horse rodeo, and then we have the street dance downtown after that. So barbecue starts at 5 tomorrow, and then quick finish at 5:30. Auction usually gets going around 7. And that barbecue, that's another thing you'll want to check out. You'd be pretty hard pressed to find a better burger elsewhere. We got beans cooked the old-fashioned way, and then one of the coolest things we do is we have thinly sliced spuds that we actually cook in big cast iron pots over an open flame. Those guys love cooking them back there too. It's not warm at all for them.
Well, and I'm glad you brought up obviously CM Russell Stampede and the legacy that CM Russell has had, not only in Montana, but truly the Judith Basin, and continuing to capture that Western spirit and legacy with the quick finish. And people can come and buy those pieces of art, whether it's a painting, a sculpture, whatever that is, and live auction. The Shobes will be doing that 5:30. Is 5:30 the auction, or is that when the quick draws or the finish starts?
That's when the quick finish starts. Then usually we wrap that up about 6:30. Then we do our dedication for the weekend and stuff, and get going with the auction. Usually around 7 is a safe bet to tell people. And that was actually Ollie's dad, Steve Urick, started that probably 31, 32 years ago. I think they were doing it in Miles City, and that's where he got the idea from. But I don't know if there's more than 2 or 3 of them in the state that do it like we do it. You know, it's actually funny. We get questions on our Facebook Messenger every year if it's like guys shooting at each other, like actual quick draws, if they're doing some kind of gun competition. So then we kind of have to explain what this is. No kidding, they actually text us like when this shootout thing is. So
well, maybe that could be a new episode on Yellowstone or something. I don't watch the show, but that sounds like that could be a good storyline there. But you know, I heard it was really easy putting these the existing grandstands under the cover here. Was there some agricultural engineering involved in that?
To say the least. Each one of these is 55 feet long, and yeah, talk about cowboying some stuff. We had about 35 or 40 professional engineers that we call ourselves in the Stampede Club, and we got it done. Let's just say it that way.
Well, I had some technical difficulties recording a portion of this interview, and so we've kind of had to rehash some of our conversations. But one of the interesting points, Powell, was the architects use technology to pinpoint where the sun will be shining at exactly the right time on the day that the rodeo takes place, so folks can be shaded underneath here, because there was never shade before here at the fairgrounds.
Exactly, yeah. Obviously, you know, our rodeo is always the 3rd Sunday in July, and typically it can get really hot, obviously. And so that was one of the main issues that we felt was a detractor. Is, you know, it's a big rodeo, right? We got 2 sections of saddle bronc. It just takes almost 3 hours, right? Well, 3 hours in the sun is just a lot, whether you're any age, right? And it's you know, we love for all the kids to be here and stuff, so shade was a big issue. And so yeah, we got it dialed in with the software, and Galileo tells us that it's fully shaded for all afternoon on the 3rd Sunday in July.
Well, that is great. And Slack on Sunday is going to be at 8 a.m. The performance kicking off at 1:30 p.m. here at the fairgrounds in Stanford. But overall, it takes a community, it takes volunteers to do this. What are your words of encouragement to folks that are part of the community or moving back to the community about just the importance of volunteering, stepping up, and supporting your community through venues like this, or just folks that live elsewhere that just need to support their communities as well?
yeah, I mean, like everybody on this panel has kids, you know, younger kids, and we want the town and Judith Basin and surrounding community to not only stay the same but grow a little bit. And both the Stanford Open and the CMR Stampede Club, you know, we're looking to put on a good event that brings people out here to spend money in our local businesses so they can survive, you know, and maybe they'll roll through here once and realize they want to move out to a place like this. So ultimately it's about bringing people out to central Montana, showing them a good time, putting on a good event, getting some, you know, giving our businesses a little boom. I mean, they really count on this weekend. And like Powell mentioned, you know, we want something that's going to last forever for our kids, hopefully our grandkids down the line. So again, it's a tremendous event. I know it's a little bit of a jaunt from Great Falls or Lewistown, but we're going to try to continue to get more people so we can continue to grow it and hopefully add things to this.
I just like to add something to that. When we started this, you know, everybody sitting here is multi-generation farm and ranch people. You know, Dawnita, formerly Dykeman from Hobson, Geyser, two on the ender from Geyser. I'm from Stanford, obviously. So we're from Judith, Basin County, multi-generations ago, and we want our families, you know, generations down the road to be here. So you got to do something. You can't just stay stagnant. And we think Central Montana is an area people are coming to. So, we decided this was going to be, we either do something or you fade away. And well, we did something. And so hopefully, if we can get the facility that we have in mind, get the bleachers under here that we want, get the crow's nest finished, get some of the other phases that we don't have the funding yet for, but we're hoping to raise. That we will have accomplished something and going into the future.
And really, it's all about like showing up. Just truly, if you show up to any organization and offer your hand and help, they will take it, because all of this takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, no matter how small or big it is.
Well, again, a lot of activities, all culminating with the Pro Rodeo Performance, 1:30 p.m. here in Stanford at the brand new rodeo facility. It's going to be a great time. J Rodeo out of Eastern Montana, bringing you all the stock for this year's event. And speaking of Sparky and Marlene Dreesen, they're down in Colorado Springs right now. A big induction for one of their bucking horses.
Yeah, actually, Night Jacket's getting inducted into the PRCA Hall of Fame. So they took off down there yesterday. I think the induction's tomorrow, Saturday. Then they'll be back tomorrow night, obviously, to make sure that this goes off without a hitch on Sunday. But obviously, you know, Sparky's outstanding, not only as a person, but a stock contractor. And he's won the Remuto Award 3 times now with the PRCA. If you go to the NFR, watch the NFR, J horses are not quite every other one, but there's a lot of them, right? So that's what draws the contestants. That's what draws the spectators. So, you know, everybody has to do their part, and we are really fortunate to have Sparky, and he's been just outstanding to work with.
Well, I know all of you have a very busy few days ahead of you. Probably some sponsor signs to put up through here the rest of the day and whatnot. But any last thoughts from the 4 of you as before we wrap up and let you get back to the busyness of Stampede weekend?
I'd just like to thank everybody that's helped put this together. It really has been truly amazing to see since we started this, everything. You can't even imagine all the people that have helped. Like I said, whenever we needed something, they stepped up. So I just want to thank everybody. I don't want to go through a list right now because I'll inevitably leave somebody out, but just want to say thanks and hope you all get a chance to come out and see what we got going on, because it's going to be special.
Yeah, it's one of those things, if you start thanking people, you'd leave people out. So just got to do the whole group thank you. But yeah, I know we have two groups, early 70s and early 80s class reunions in town. And again, I can't encourage people enough to come see what we're offering. And we do have the shade. That was always the number one thing for not coming to the rodeo, is it's so hot, there's no shade. We added that shade for the spectators, so it's better, and hopefully we can bring more people out to see the great things that we're doing out here in the Judith Basin.
Yeah, you know, these guys said it great. Dawnita looks like she might have something to add, but no, just thanks to everyone. That's all I have.
Again, thanks to everyone, and actually thank you to all of the Stampede Club members, and especially Ollie. He doesn't take a lot of credit, but he did spearhead the start of this. So.
Well, again, it's a great setup up here right now, and it's just going to continue to get better each and every year as the phases are completed. Actually, one last thing, Dawnita, folks can make donations. Obviously, who would they make a check to, or who can they contact to support all these endeavors?
All of us board members, Stanford Open, you can find us on Facebook. Give us a call. We will figure out how to get your check or your cash or any other form of payment that you might have that can help us out here and keep it going.
Well, there you have it. 1:30 p.m. is performance time on Sunday for the C.M. Russell Stampede Pro Rodeo action. Check them out online for the full agenda of all the activities going on in Stanford this weekend. With that, we didn't have too many technical issues on this broadcast, but just want to thank everyone for joining us here today, and hopefully we'll see you in Stanford here this weekend. For the Western Ag Network, I'm Lane Northland. We'll catch you next time.